says it's going or trying to. There we go. How's that look there, Justin? Yeah,
Checking YouTube now.
cool. Hey, Presh. Hey, Ashley.
Hey.
Awesome. We're here at the top of the hour. Just wait on Jason here to join us, but thank you so much for those of you that are joining us already on YouTube. And we'll hang tight here for a quick second before kicking off. A few more teammates joining us. Hey, Andre. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Amber. Hi, Kelly. Let's see everybody. A slew of people coming in. Get started here in just a couple minutes here. 13 companies to pitch today to Jason and Molly and our launch team. Hey, Jamie. Just throwing you on mute there. Excellent. For those of you that are watching live here, we will get started in a couple minutes. Similar session to if you joined us on Friday for session 1 of these pitches. We'll have 13 companies here pitching for 2 minutes each. Go in groups of 4 and then get some feedback from Jason and Molly on those pitches. Get started in just a couple minutes. Again, if you're listening in here live, we are going to kick off our 3rd cohort of Founder University. You can find out more information on our 12-week program, as well as a 2-day program that just wrapped up at founder.university. Our 12-week program walks founders through the journey of creating an idea, validating the idea, building an MVP, finding those initial customers. And as you're seeing here today, 13 of them have opportunity to pitch that idea in a 2-minute format to our judges. If you're interested, you can find more information there. You can also follow us on Twitter, give a lot of information there. It's at Founder Uni. Jason will be here in just a couple of seconds, and then we will jump right into it. Excellent. Thanks to our launch team for being here too. Looking forward to seeing these companies. Appreciate you being here. Hey, Nick. Give just a little bit of background on our Founder University program. This is our second cohort. We had 189 founders who were selected to be a part of this cohort, with over just under, I guess, 90% finishing the 12-week program. Unique things about this Founder University program: pay $700 to be a part of it, but upon completion, that money will be reimbursed to you. Just having our founders get a little skin in the game and encouraged to stick with the program and see their idea through. We have 12 live sessions, which is really the only requirement for the tuition reimbursement. If you attend each of those sessions over the 12 weeks, you're eligible. Of those 164 founders who did finish the program, 60 of them pitched to the launch investment team. A few of those 12 were selected to pitch on Friday to Jason and Mike Savino. And today we're going to have 13 more pitch to Molly and Jason. In our original cohort, we had just under 100 founders and have already made investments in 7 of them. Hopefully make some investments from this cohort as well. Like I said earlier, cohort 3 will kick off in just under a month, July 11th, and still apply if you're interested at founder.university.
When's the application deadline, Charlie?
It's kind of rolling. Early July is when we'll probably start, just from a time perspective, not have time to review them all. But I will try and review it all the way up until the deadline if as possible.
Charlie, is it possible to apply again? Because it was so awesome.
The best part about being a part of the program is that you continually have access even after the cohort. So you'll continue to have access to the curriculum. We're going to keep adding to the curriculum, so you'll have access to that new curriculum as well. And then all of those live sessions for cohort 3 are going to be posted in the exact same format that they were for cohort 2. So if you check Circle on Mondays, there will be a Zoom link that we would love to see you. Join us and keep us updated.
That was going to be my question, if we could see the new live session. So
absolutely. And all the recordings, just like in this session, all the live sessions are recorded and available in Circle, and we'll continue to for future cohorts as well. So any of the new presentations, you absolutely will have access to. And with all of our founders, keeping us updated on your progress. Updates at launch.co is a great way. Keeping us posted in the small wins within our curriculum is awesome. I'll have a Slack group set up here in the coming days for this cohort. You can always reach out to me directly as well.
You said there are 13 pitching today. Was that so 4 cohorts of?
Yeah, we're going to do 4, 4, and 5. Yeah. We had one founder that joined just in case something went wrong in the first session. He's nice enough to join again today. So we're going to try our best to squeeze him in at the end there as long as we have time. It does look like Jason joined us here.
I'm here.
Hey, Jason.
I'm here for you, Charlie.
Well, I'm
And
ready
for
to
these
rock
great
and roll.
companies to hear these great pitches.
Absolutely. I know we just did this on Friday with session 1. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to say to kick us off, or if we just want to jump right in.
Well, was everybody there? Because I don't want to repeat myself, giving my grandpa angel investor stump speech here, but
Everybody who is on the call right now told me they did, in fact, watch
Ah,
the Friday
great.
one.
so what I would say is, yeah, I haven't seen market conditions like this in a very long time, and it's rough out there, but not for people who are builders themselves. So if you know how to build your own product and you're a developer, designer, sales executive, growth manager, marketer, hacker, whatever term you like to use for the growth person, if you're in those four categories, the people who actually do like real work in the world, like at least at the early stages of startup, those critical folks, there and operations falls in there as well. But operations and sales don't really drive the product, do they? They can. They support the product mainly, I think is how most people would describe them. So you have those other three categories: product, designer, manager, designer, UX, UI. You got, developers in there, and you got the people who do growth for the product. And growth has many different flavors. But those three people at the startups are kind of like the trio. And so hopefully you have those skills. If you don't, highly recommend becoming the growth person. It's super valuable. There's not enough of them out there. People who understand how to get more users. It could be through community. It could be through PR. It could be through paid. It could be through content marketing, SEO, content. There's so many different flavors, but it's really the easiest of the three jobs to quickly ramp up to being an expert at. And each one of them takes, a couple of weeks to learn, the different growth techniques, and then months to gain some basic mastery of them, and then to truly be effective at them, probably 6 to 12 months. And if you were to do that with design, you would probably double it. And if you were talking about a developer, you might triple it in terms of the amount of time it takes and the effort it takes to become proficient at those. So it's just kind of a secret weapon. How many people, in all honesty, raise your hands if you would consider yourself the idea person at your startup? Because I'm an idea person. Okay. How many people would say they're a developer? How many people would say they fall into product and product designer of product? Okay. How many people fall into the growth category? Wow, a lot of the product design. Okay. Excellent. And then how many people are in operations, jack of all trades? Okay, great. So, people fit into different categories, and you want to be in a category that's essential and that builds a product. How many people are a solo founder? Raise your hand. How many? Okay, it's too many. How many people are part of a duo? You have one other co-founder. And how many people are part of a trio of founders? And how many people have 4 founders or more? None. Okay. So, the solo founder is really difficult. It's hard. Maybe you find somebody here at Founder University, you look at your 2 ideas and you figure out which one's better and you go to work on that if you can find consensus, or finding somebody who complements your skills. So you're the, growth person, you find a developer. You're a developer, you go find a growth or a salesperson or a product person, somebody you can vibe with and make the product get better every day, whether you have venture capital or not. A lot of people are just waiting for venture capital to start building. And if they don't have funding, they can't build. There are other people in a down market, man, they don't need funding to build. So I hope for all of you that you can build your products without funding, because funding is going to be harder and harder to come by. And you might have periods of time where you can't get funding and the funding window is closed, which sounds crazy considering we just went through a funding market that made no sense. So here we are.
Awesome. Well, we've got a similar format for you here today, Jason. We got 12 companies plus 1. If we can get him squeezed in there at the end, that would be amazing.
Right.
We'll jump right into it. First session or first group up here, we have Justin with Simple. If you want to go ahead and share your screen.
Yep, sharing screen now.
Excellent. I can hear you. Here comes the screen. All right. You've got 2 minutes on the clock here, Justin. Ready? Go.
Hi, I'm Justin, founder of Simple. Make it super simple to create step-by-step tutorials to onboard and support your customers. Meet Sandy. She's the founder at a SaaS company with a small team of 4. She wants to create a series of quick start guides so that her customers can onboard themselves instead of bothering her team for support. She's thought about recording Loom videos, but videos are hard to consume. She can also write each guide manually and add screenshots, but writing paragraphs of text and editing screenshots are tedious work. That's when Sandy heard from her founder friends about a tool called Simple. Let me show you how it works. Sandy installed a simple browser extension, hit record, and then start clicking through her product as she normally would. Once finished, she hit stop, and a step-by-step guide with screenshots is automatically created from her clicks. She can easily add descriptions to each step and edit screenshots right in the same editor. When Sandy is done, her tutorial is automatically published to her product's knowledge base, with all the proper SEO settings to be discovered through online search. With Simple, Sandy easily created 10 quick start guides within an hour that would have otherwise taken her a whole week. She successfully onboarded all her customers while reducing the number of support tickets by more than 5 times. We charge a flat monthly or annual fee. You can use Simple for $29 a month or $299 a year. Existing competitors are used for one-on-one private communications or long-form videos that are hard to consume. Simple is the only tool that is built for public browsing like a blog, while easy to digest. We're targeting growth stage SaaS companies with a small team of less than 10 people. With Simple, anyone on the team can quickly create beautiful step-by-step tutorials, just like Sandy. We're currently building the MVP and have 10 teams that have committed to become our pilot users. We'll focus on the small teams like them to get to 1 million ARR. We'll gradually move up market to mid-sized SaaS companies and finally start hitting enterprise customers to get to 100 million ARR. The team is currently myself. I'm a web designer and developer that have been helping small businesses integrate SaaS tools for the past 6 years. From my experience, I will only choose software if they have decent tutorials. Thank you, I'm Justin, founder of Simple. We make it super simple to create step-by-step tutorials to onboard and support your customers.
Excellent job there, Justin. If you can go ahead and stop sharing your screen. And Teresa, you can go ahead and share. Tell us about SheMate.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
I can see it. It looks like you're about to go full screen. Here it is. All right.
Perfect.
I've got 2 minutes on the clock for you, Teresa. Ready? Go.
I am Teresa Friesen, founder of SheMate, and we connect and elevate women in sports and life. Let me show you how through Kendaya's experience. Kendaya is becoming increasingly interested in sports. She wants to know about future options, but has no safe or easy way to talk with older female athletes and never hears the personal journeys of female athletes when watching sports on TV. So what does she do? She turns to social media. She can find female athletes there, but she has to experience invalidating and harmful filth to get there. These problems are not unique to Kendaya. Millions of females play sports, yet 95% of media coverage goes to male athletes and 133 million more in scholarships to male athletes. So girls are forced to traverse through harm on social to access what they need, positive interactions with vetted female role models. But not anymore. Enter SheMate. Now, young athletes and the adults in their lives can head to our website, find an athlete they want to meet, and click this button for mentorship or live streaming requests. Our site is home to a growing community of athletes like Sophie, Courtney, and Taylor. By clicking on their profiles, you can learn more about each athlete, like that Courtney does track and field at Clemson, is pre-med, and is from St. Louis. Now, budding athletes like Kendaya and parents, coaches, and school administrators who cannot alone meet all the needs of their students get individual and team mentoring and virtual series addressing the most relevant issues of young people today. Our marketplace allows easy and safe access to connect with high quality, iconic women in sports with revenue through transactions. And our media services amplify female athletes and voices and utilize data to inform ways we build with revenue through ticket sales. In 7 months, over 1,300 athletes have applied to join our community, representing over 100 locations and every level within collegiate play and beyond. We differentiate from competitors as we are the all-in-one solution to holistically solve sex-based inequities in sports. Combining our market research with my social science background and Kristen's personal experience in the space, we are ready to scale. Thank you.
Awesome job, Teresa. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Antonio with A3 Challenges. See the mountains again. There's the deck. Can I hear you yet, Antonio?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, you have 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hello, my name is Antonio Roy, and I'm the founder of A3 Challenges. We enable companies to have a healthier, happier, and more productive workforce. Meet Jason, podcast host and angel investor, among other things. During the height of the pandemic, he could not work out, his diet changed, and his energy was not the same. Jason wanted to add and maintain healthy habits to his daily routine. Let me show you how we can help him. Jason wanted to start biking, but never got around to it. So he used A3 to start a biking challenge with a goal of 50K per week for 2 months. To increase His commitment, Jason invites friends and coworkers to join him, and to increase his motivation, he can comment, post picture, track his progress, and monitor his achievements over time. Jason is always looking for how to boost the productivity of his team and realize that improving both physical and mental health is the ultimate productivity frontier. After all, Jason experienced firsthand how health can affect morale and performance on the job. After he lost some weight, his productivity, creativity, and energy are through the roof, and his team can barely keep up. So to increase his productivity, he decided to join our corporate program. And now Jason and his team participate in fun and engage in activities that promote and reward healthy behaviors like reading, exercising, healthy eating, and meditation. And by gamifying the experience, A3 removes the pressure associated with activities like working out or dieting. And now Jason can use our dashboard to track company KPI versus physical and mental health parameters and act on this information to continue promoting healthy behaviors within the company. Our ideal customers are companies with at least 250 employees. There are 76,000 of those in the US. Our business model is B2B subscription-based, starting at $6.99 per employee per month, and we offer employees and family plans for $9.99 per month. $100 million ARR can be achieved by 2028 with less than 2,000 corporate customers with an average revenue of $50,000 per year per customers. And we are showing signs of early traction, having signed our first 2 corporate customers with a $58,000 ARR. And I would like for you and your team, Jason, to join, because if you're going to be an investor, you might as well be a customer first. Our competition is companies like Zero Fasting and Calm, and while this company focuses on individual consumers and one-dimensional in nature, our approach is holistic and focused on corporate wellness. I'm the founder with over a decade of experience in managing large sales and manufacturing organization, and on the technical side, we have Alexis, a full-stack developer and entrepreneur. We are A3 Challenges. We enable companies to have a healthier, happier, and more productive workforce. Thank you.
Nice work there, Antonio. Go ahead and stop sharing. And we'll go to our 4th company here with this cohort with Garrett and Michelle with Mostai.
Can you see it?
Yep. All right, there it's full screen. Can I hear Michelle too?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, we can hear you. 2
All
minutes
right.
on the clock. Ready? Go.
Our subscription content app triggers mystical experiences in minutes without substances. Keep in mind, this is all backed by science, as Michelle, an actual customer who found us through our viral video, shows you how it works.
I use this app on my phone every day to have a mystical experience just by selecting a session. Before I found this app, I was full of anxiety, depressed, overweight, and diagnosed with a thyroid condition. And then I found this. It sparked something in me, and I was immediately hooked. I pick an experience just like you pick a calm meditation, but these aren't boring like meditation is. These sessions are deep, cathartic, powerful, mind-altering, and even ecstatic. In minutes, I find myself weeping, having emotional breakthroughs, which turn into awe and rapture. It's wild. I feel like I'm on a mushroom trip. I can only describe this as the purest feeling of love and ecstasy beside anything I've ever experienced. It's like an orgasm, but much better. Then there's this afterglow. I'm so full of love and joy. Just from using this app for a few months, I lost 40 pounds without dieting or exercise. My anxiety and depression are gone. My thyroid condition mysteriously healed without medication, and I'm happier than I've ever been. My son even said to me, when all you were doing was meditating, you were just a mediocre mom, boring and grumpy. Since you've been doing that app, you're so much more fun. Now you're the best mom in the whole world, and I know it's from having mystical experiences through this app.
That's the power of mystical experience. In fact, Johns Hopkins psychedelic research showed that the extraordinary healing agent in breakthrough psychedelic therapy is actually mystical experience. We've discovered a patent-pending secret to triggering mystical experience through an app. This can solve the mental health crisis and the meaning deficit. We've solved the idea maze by testing 500 iterations of our experiences on thousands of people. Our secret caused 30 million viral video views, 250,000 people signed up for more, and our customer lifetime value is over 4 times what Calm's app gets. Influencers like Russell Brand admire our work. Our last direct marketing test got 50% monthly recurring revenue growth over 5 months. We've achieved 158,000 in revenue, and during Founder U, we built our fully native iOS app in-house. We are targeting the 56 million sensation seekers not served by meditation. We know them because I'm a best-selling author on their psychographic. They bore easily, and while other apps are putting people to sleep, we're waking people up. We're already on first base for 10 million, converting a fraction of our list will get us there, but we're building a direct advertising machine like Calm so we can reach 100 million. We're expert builders from Facebook, US Intelligence, and Microsoft Research who've already founded successful startups and exited for 30 million.
Awesome. Nice job there, Garrett. Thank you so much. Those are our first 4 companies here for you, Jason and Molly.
Amazing. Jason, you're on mute.
I was going to say, Jason, you're mute.
Okay, Molly, one question and one question only for one of the startups. We'll each do one question in this format, and then we will pick our number 2 and our number 1.
All right. One question for only one.
One for one, and then I'll do one. So you first, and then I'll go next. So pick your best question, just so we can get through them.
I know he has to tell me this on purpose because otherwise I ask 10 to 100 questions and everybody knows
it's
it.
the journalist in you.
I'm editing. I have a question for SheMate, actually, which for Teresa, which is, what is the B in B2B?
Question.
School districts primarily.
Got it.
That's
Wow,
what
what a
I
great tight
thought, yeah.
answer. Take one more question then, Molly. If you could all answer questions in a sentence, then we would take 2 each. But
I know. Well, then this will be a really easy question for Garrett. I'm not sure you got there. How much do you charge your subscribers?
111 a month is what we were able to charge. Some pay up to 300 a month.
Wow.
Okay, wow,
Great.
that's incredible. All right, so I have a question for SheMate. How does the mentorship get delivered? We got why it's important. We got all the, equity in the world and why this is important, but we didn't actually see the product like in action. So how does the product actually manifest itself? Do I go to a live event? Am I in a chat room? Is it 1-to-many, 1-to-100?
Right now, it's very manual, where we typically do Eventbrite and Zoom, some Instagram Live for a larger audience. As we build out, we'll, of course,
1-to-one, 1-to-few? How does it occur?
1-to-many.
1-to-many. Awesome. What's the largest one you've done?
We've had a reach of about 3,000 in one session.
Okay, you put the qualifier. I can go. I can teach some lessons here, Charlie. Do I have the flexibility to do that? Okay. So when you put a qualifier on it, everybody watch. I'm going to give you what's going on inside the brain of a VC. You put a qualifier on it. We have reach. So immediately I think, this isn't a real statistic. So you did say so, but I wouldn't say that to her directly. I don't want to hurt her feelings. So I'm going to go talk to her now. Okay. She doesn't hear what I'm saying. Teresa, 3,000 people paid to be in a meeting. You said reach of 3,000. Does that mean 100 came and 2,900 watched the replay? Explain the qualifier reach.
Yep, absolutely. So we have 2 different segments that happen, these paid sessions, which are with smaller groups, and then these broader ones, which are in Instagram Live and free to our users. So in the small one, we've had about a group of 20 is our largest. Our Instagram Live, which gives us greater access and reach, is the one I'm talking about, into the thousands.
What did they pay? Those 20 people, did they pay for that one?
Yeah.
What did they pay?
$10.
Perfect. So you did you did $200 in revenue for a 1-hour session with a professional. Awesome. All right, great. So we saw 4 great companies, Molly. We saw Simple, tool to create product walkthroughs and onboarding for startups and I think bigger companies, SaaS model, SheMate.club, mentorship for aspiring female athletes from professionals, revenue from transactions and ticket sales, 83 challenges, Antonio, health challenges for company. He claimed on the competition page, it's like Fitbit and Peloton, but I know they're actually direct competitors to this one, which then as an investor, Molly, I'm wondering if he left those out because he doesn't want to compete head on head with them, or if he's not aware of them. Either one got a little bit of a mini red flag for me. And then Most High, a mind-altering app, similar to taking mushrooms or having an orgasm that will cure your diseases and make you a better mom. With a high risk presentation of actually bringing on a mom who had an incredible experience. $111, 450 customers. The app was built in-house. Nice little addition there. I noticed he said app built in-house.
Right.
Knows
you
that
inspired
I care
me
about
for
that
that.
stuff. Yeah, well, you get more credit if you're building it in-house. So that's very smart. So who's your 2 and who's your 1, Molly? And then Jackie, I'd like to get your 2 and 1. So I hope you're paying attention. I'm going to randomly call on my team to give 2 and 1s. Okay, Molly, you're first. 2 and then 1.
I think
it's not easy.
It's not easy. These are all very good companies. I think that I am going to go out on a limb for less, not necessarily less. Okay. It's a little risky. My number 2 is Most High. I think that if you already have people paying that amount, and we have seen people looking for any possible way to address their mental health, I think there's actually quite an opportunity there. And then my number 1 is SheMate. I think the addition of selling it to schools and school districts and universities, I could imagine being a good revenue generator. And I just think for the other 2, there's really a lot of competition.
Jackie, from the perspective of the accelerator, I'd like you to answer this.
Okay.
Accelerator
gosh. And this is, I know, and I hate doing this because I want all these companies to come to the accelerator. I don't like to play favorites, so don't ask me to do this again.
They want the
feedback.
I
will. I know. All right. So my number 2 would be Most High, for the reason that Molly say, and my number 1 would be Simple.
Very good. So I went with, it's really tough. I really have great things to say about each one. And so I'm also struggling. But I'm going to go this time with S Simple as my number 2, because it feels like they have great dexterity in building a really focused SaaS product that I could see expanding and expanding and expanding into other categories, right? Like Loom is not just used for, salespeople, other people started using it, right? So it could be one of these tools that a lot of people use for a lot of different reasons. I could see a history teacher taking you through the web across 20 different links and giving you a history lesson, right? I could see this being a very open-ended tool. So I really, I started thinking of possibilities, and that's something, you got a great product when somebody starts thinking about the possibilities. And then for my number 1, probably people didn't think this. They probably thought I would go with the one with the most revenue, like Most High. I have a little bit of a challenge there with the claims. So those get me a little nervous. A3 challenges I also liked, but I know there are some competitors there. I know that's a tough business. So I went with SheMate. And although I didn't think it was a very good presentation, needs work. I think you really there's something you could capture there in the product that could be extraordinary. And when I saw Cameo, again, my creative juices as an investor, having seen thousands of pitches, I immediately thought, oh my God, like if you're a female athlete, you're probably not getting the sponsorships you need. You probably could really use the money, just like the celebrities who are on Cameo, they kind of are the ones maybe who could use a little extra work. Like one of the hobbits from Lord of the Rings is on there, the Samwise Gamgee one. And he loves doing it. And he's making he doesn't charge a lot, but when you watch it, you can tell he actually gets meaning from doing it. And it's probably paying for his kids' education. Or hobbits have a lot of kids. He's probably got like 12. So it's probably paying for 2 or 3 of their educations. With yours, I see the similar kind of thing where I could see there are female athletes who would do this just for the love of doing it and giving back, but it also might become some, pocket change and some do-re-mi, if I dare say, a little do-re-mi that could actually pay a mortgage payment or something like that. And I could see somebody doing this with 50 people every month, like one of those, what do they call it, mastermind groups. And it could be $50 a month, $25 a month. They might love doing it and they get some value out of it and it pays for their car payment. My Lord, I think it's got great potential, but you got to really focus on product, not just the big picture stuff. And that was the thing I was going to give you a little warning about. Just be careful with knowing your audience. If you start signaling B Corp stuff and equity and, what's wrong in society, people might think you're not a rabid capitalist. I don't know if you're a rabid capitalist, but if you want to get the venture money, you got to tune in the rabid. You got to go 10x on the rabid capitalist, and then I don't know. You have to tone down the feel good stuff because that's inherent in it. But I just think you need to up the rabid capitalism if you're doing something that has to do with equity, or whatever. Because sometimes they'll put you in a box. I don't want to see you get put in a box by limited thinking VCs. Does that make sense? All right. I'm always trying to give you like a little handicap of how VCs think, but I'm very impressed with all 4.
Excellent. Well, let's move on to the next 4 then.
Okay. And for my team, be ready. You never know, Rachel, who I might call in. You might not have ever been called in this format, but have your thoughts ready. You never know, Rachel. Calvin.
All right. We have
Ashley,
refund
Crash,
quiz up
Amber,
next.
Andre. Jamie. Okay. Who's next?
Yep. Spode, can I hear you?
Yep. All right.
Awesome.
Let me
Let's get
saddle
that
up.
screen
You
up.
do have to share your screen.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Let me saddle up the unicorn here.
Yeah. Love it.
Oh, yes.
All right. Can you see my
Here it
screen now?
comes. Yep. All right. You got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
I'm Simon Carmarker, founder of RefundWiz, a financial solutions provider for the Hispanic community. We have an app for digitally filing taxes. Our solution, it's as easy as uno, dos, tres. It's easy to understand, easy to use, because it's natively built in Spanish with OCR data entry assistance. We offer financial solutions designed for the target demographic. The problem, there's a lack of Latino tax preparers, fewer than 10,000, and a rapidly growing Hispanic population. Current solutions don't provide language support, and approximately 60% Latinos go to unregulated, unqualified tax preparers. Meet Jorge. You have to drive 50 miles to meet with a qualified Spanish-speaking preparer. So this is how RefundWiz works. Jorge creates an account, scans his ID and W-2, files his taxes, and claims his refund. But here's the thing. Jorge is one of 10 million Hispanics that is unbanked. Processing refunds opens an opportunity to become an everyday banking habit with the Mas debit card by RefundWiz. With RefundWiz, Jorge doesn't drive anywhere, learn tax software, can digitally accept refunds faster, saving him time, money, and no stress. For easy deployment, we Bootstrap launched in 9 states, focusing on single filers and states with no state income tax. In just the last 5 days of the tax season, we had 10 paid customers. Partnership with payroll and staffing companies are underway. The 9 states Hispanic population is 13.6 million, of which 3.6 are single filers. Acquiring 400,000 users gives us a projected revenue of 10 million. The app is available in English. Extrapolating across US and grabbing 6.2 million single filers puts us on the road to projected revenue of 100 million. We spoke directly with our competition and discovered 2 nuggets. A, there's no innovation taking place, and there's a huge blind spot for the largest and fastest growing demographic. The debit card allows us to pivot to MRR, increasing revenue from $25 to $48 per customer. As a former manager with H&R Block, countless times I witnessed receptionists turning away customers with no habla español. This is RipanWiz. Our app fills a large need. Gracias.
Awesome job there. 10 seconds to spare. Keep moving right along. Rachel with Printers Row. Can you hear us, Rachel?
Sorry.
Perfect. Nope, you're good.
Okay.
I know doing 2 things at once as fast as possible is never easy.
You know.
We can see it and we can hear you. And I've got 2 minutes for you, Rachel. Ready?
All
Go.
right. Yeah. Hi, I'm Rachel Bell, founder of Printers Row, the next chapter in book publishing. The complexities in the publishing industry are opaque, resulting in lost productivity and costly mistakes. There are 2 main characters in the book publishing story. Sylvia is a publisher. She produces and sells books in exchange for paying the author a royalty. On the supplier side, there are printers like Stephen. With Printers Row, Sylvia can place orders and track everything in one centralized hub. Stephen can anticipate issues before they come up. Sylvia can source suppliers, hire talent, and purchase SaaS licenses all in one place. Stephen gets access to qualified leads. We provide payment automation, meaning money moves in hours, not months. We're on track to launch our MVP later this year. We make money on each transaction. Subscriptions start at $500 a year. Commissions and referrals have a 7% take rate. Printers Row is the first book publishing marketplace solution, bringing along a robust ecosystem of enablers and partners. We're creating a Zapier-like convenience for customers. Although we're pre-product, over the past year, I've worked as a consultant to prove the concept and the model, and I've done that to the tune of $150K. The manual process isn't scalable, but we have customers. We'll focus initially on our beachhead of small publishers in North America, then expand to small publishers globally. Once we've landed and achieved domination for small publishers, we'll expand to include large global publishing companies. We'll bring 8 Sylvias and 2 Stephens in year 1. By year 5, we're targeting $62 million in gross revenue. We'll acquire customers through trade shows, marketing, and customer referrals. With our experience in printing and publishing, we are the team to build and grow Printers Row. Thank you. I'm Rachel Bell, founder of Printers Row, the next chapter in book publishing.
Awesome job there, Rachel. Plenty of time to spare.
All right.
Nice work. Omar, bonjour, up next.
Oh,
No,
can you see my screen?
I can see it. I can hear you. And I'll put 2 minutes on the clock for you. Ready? Go.
Hi, let me introduce you, Omar. He came to us for a master's degree in his dream school, and then he stayed as he chooses freedom over the comfort of having driver, cook, and daily maid back in Turkey. He managed to replace the driver with Uber, cook with DoorDash, but he quickly became aware that on-demand maids have nothing to do with the benefits of daily maid he used to have. Omar knows it's not about clean house, it's about everyday tidiness, thus wellness. He knows how it alters his mood and productivity. He just wants 30-minute cleaning every day. But all the marketplaces offer 3-hour cleaning. That's not handy at all. He thinks if he convinces his foreign neighbors they can share a 3-hour cleaning every day with each other, they will have a small section of the house cleaned every day, adding up to the whole house by the end of the week. Plus, they will get their bed done every day. And it will cost the same. Wait a minute, Omar sees an opportunity and names it Bonjour, housekeeping for houses. Get your bed done every day. Bonjour is a housekeeping marketplace that pools customers based on their location and matches them with the nearby keepers. He is launching in Manhattan with monthly subscription and bedding add-on option. First, he will build a demand by sending old-fashioned direct mails to high-density buildings, and then he will approach the rental building companies for partnership. This will be helpful when he's launching in new cities. Furthermore, such fresh approach would eliminate most of the problems that upset VCs before. Moreover, Omar is well aware that getting into one's house every day is just the beginning. Cleaning is just the excuse to get the keys. The grand vision is to become human Zapier of the household. Lots of stars are trying to get get access to your house, either stock the fridge or just take the dog for a walk. And they expect them to trust their everyday changing contractor. That's not going to be easy as convincing people to get into a stranger's car for a lift. But it is easy to trust the same cleaning who is in your house every day. So what you name it, Bonjour will zap it. Plus, this would offer keepers much more responsibility, thus better pay. Amir is very excited and ready to hustle. He just needs to show. I think it's my time.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Omar. Great job. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing your screen there. We'll go to one more in this session with Joel with Spin Up.
All right, can you guys hear me? And I'm going to share my screen.
I can hear you, and the screen is coming. If you want to go full screen, also looks like you're on slide. There we go. All right, Joel.
All right.
2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hello, everybody. I'm Joel Palafinkel. I'm the CEO of Spin Up, and we're the next generation for VC investing. Meet Renee. She's launching a fund, and she meets Sam, who's investing in a fund. The challenge is it takes Renee too much time to close capital. So with Spin Up, you can create a data room and share from any device with a simple link, and LPs can commit with one tap. There's a community of vetted LPs who are curated and interested to see your fund, and you can track LP commitments on a slick dashboard. We have a free trial with limited storage, but if you sign up today, we're going to give 250 megabytes of storage, and then you'll upgrade to $100 a month. If you sign up today, it's $50 a month. We are pre-revenue, and we're doing our live soft launch today. Launched this during Founder University. Also on the traction side, I've launched a fund accelerator in the last year. This summer, we'll be graduating 250 funds. So that essentially makes us penetrate 13% of all US funds and 8% of all global US funds, 8% of global funds. On the traction, additionally, cohort 5, we're having a beta next week where 50 active funds will be using Spin Up. And we essentially have a compounding community of high quality VCs, LPs, and their hottest deal flow. And we have 50 funds every quarter with 40 LPs every quarter as well. And then we're going to focus on an omni-channel growth strategy with organic community and paid ads. And as far as our competition, what makes us different is we have a curated LP community, and we have easy to use and affordable technology. We're looking at $10 million in 3 years, 100 million in 6 years when we offer more data products and features and data feeds to institutions. I have a VC and institutional fintech background. Mike has ran growth and paid acquisition for a long time. And then Brian Foreman is an advisor. He focuses on securities law. And we have a surprise Easter egg. I'm also going to offer the technology to allow direct deals as well. So as a free thank you, want to offer access to all of the graduates from Founder University, and also free trial access if you sign up now.
Awesome. Thank you there, Joel. That's our 4th founder. If you want to go ahead and stop sharing your screen, turn it over to Jason and Molly. You're on mute there again, Jason.
Yes, Printers Row. What is the primary thing you do for publishers that they don't already do for themselves? Is it the financing piece, or is it helping them manage relationships with printers? It was unclear to me.
It is managing the financing is the most important part. Bookstores get 90 days to pay for books, and then their distributor gets another 30 days to actually pay the publisher.
Got it. So in a way, it's like pipe.com, which helps people manage reoccurring revenue. You're doing that for books. That's fantastic. Right. And Molly, do you have a question?
I had a similar question, which is that I didn't 100%, because I'm not that familiar with that industry, understand what the product is. So if you're going to expand on it even beyond the finances part, that would be great.
So having one centralized hub so they can get all their printer bids sent to them in one format that looks exactly the same instead of having crazy spreadsheets. It's all managed now through Post-it notes and spreadsheets and lots of documents. And this helps them have everything all in one place so they can make their best business decisions and apply for financing.
Great.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you.
So for my team, I'm going to ask you which one of these companies you think has the most revenue generating possibility over the next 10 years. So think about that, my team. I'm just going to ask you for your number one on that vector. But for Molly, you're number two and you're number one in this cohort, and why? Number two, number one.
I'm at that. Jason knows this stage well now after just a few months on the job where I'm like, but I want Bonjour to exist so bad.
Personally, yeah.
Personally, that it almost hurts.
Yeah.
My number two is Printers Row, and my number one is Refund Whiz.
Okay, great. And any reasons why?
I think, I mean, I love the idea of such a targeted solution to a population that is only growing and is totally underserved. I mean, it's almost like a built-in captive market. And then, you know, to Rachel's point, I think the old adage is if you find a company that is like, if you find an industry that's making millions of dollars and using clipboards, that's where you want to go. And it sounds to me like that's what you're doing.
Yeah, this is a tough one. There's a lot of competition for SpinUp, obviously. Tons of people make this software. I get pitched on it all the time, and I can do it with Typeform, or you can use Carter or AngelList. It's just a really crowded space all of a sudden. So it's very challenging. Bonjour. I thought time sharing of a cleaner with your neighbors is a really interesting idea. And that if you did get a building to do it, it's kind of like turning a building into a hotel in terms of like the turnover service. And I could see building a relationship with a high-end building and saying, hey, we'll be your in-house cleaning service. And as an amenity, we're going to have a cleaner here all day long. If there's extra hours, people can book it and have the subscription. But if there's extra hours, they can request on demand. And all of a sudden, that might be very interesting. And if you got 4 buildings in a 2-block radius, I think you could charge a premium for it, maybe even $50 an hour, and make it something. Because I was also thinking about the supply side, like why would a cleaner do this? They would do it if they could have benefits, if they could have time off, if they could have a better job, and you might be able to do all that if you could professionalize it. Printers Row, it is a acute problem for publishers, and publishing is bigger than people think, and obviously the tax service, a lot of competition there. So I thought Printers Row was more unique. So I went with that as my number two. And I thought Bonjour had some weird possibilities where a lot of people would like to have their house cleaned every day for an hour or two, as opposed to once a week for 8 hours. I think that's like kind of cool. Having had somebody come once a week and having daily service now, I can tell you it's a big game changer. So those are my 1 and 2. Jamie, which one is going to generate the most revenue? I'm curious what you think.
Most revenue, I'm thinking that Refund Whiz is almost limitless in potential, but I do like the idea that you talked about with Bonjour going into a multi-unit building. I was wondering, you know, could you also, hey, can you add services? Can you also walk my dog? Can you water my plants? I'm having company. Can you send me a caterer? So I think there's some interesting.
Once you get in there, you could do some interesting
services.
add-ons. Yeah, that's right. Dog walking is an obvious one because a lot of people's housekeepers actually do walk their dogs as well. So great idea. Okay, Kelly, which one's going to generate the most revenue 5 or 10 years from now?
I feel the same way, Bonjour. And I think as a working mom, there are a ton of people right now, especially after the pandemic, that are willing to pay to get their time back. And so I think this has really big potential.
Great. Yeah. And it hasn't worked previously because people charge too little and they use the gig economy. And yeah, it was, what was the one that went out of business that everybody hated?
HomeJoy.
Which one?
Was it called HomeJoy?
I don't know if, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but there was one that everybody wanted to root for, but then hated in execution. So there's a lot of lessons there. Omer for you, Ashley, and then Amber. Which one's going to make the most money here? Which one do you think?
I think Refund Whiz.
Mm-hmm. And then Amber?
I also went with Bonjour.
Okay. Andre and Andre? I'd like you to say it at the same time.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So for me, it's Refund Whiz. And okay. Yeah, I can go into it if you want.
AT, what do you got?
Refund Whiz as well.
Got it. Rachel? Most money in 5 to 10 years.
Refund Whiz, but I want Bonjour to go to college campuses because we had a sorority house where every sorority had a different sorority on each floor, and we rented out a cleaning person and they got a really good deal. And I think this would absolutely kill it, like in use case scenarios like that.
Yeah, but you guys are cheap, right? You wouldn't
Yeah,
pay $50 an
super
hour.
cheap,
So you
super
guys are
cheap.
super cheap and you make a huge mess. So you're the worst possible customers. So Omar, I'm going to say hard no. You got to pick the right customers, price out the wrong ones.
Oh no, come over.
Rachel's a professional now, but in college it was crazy party at that sorority, I can tell you. All right, well done. Let's do another 4 if we have any more, Charlie. I'd like to see another 4 of these incredible companies, and just really solid job. I will give everybody a lot of credit here. I would tell you if these were bad pitches. I'm apt to tell you if they're bad pitches. I do think focusing, your number one job in a 2-minute pitch is that we have to understand your business. And I do see, and listen, it's only a 12-week program here, and these are all nascent pitches. But you could see here the difference between, like, say, the launch accelerator pitches, where you really have another level of crispness. And that's because usually you understand your product or business a little better. So you really want to have that, like, really singular focus of explaining your business very crisply. Printers Row is a service for publishers who have 2 acute problems. One, getting bids from dozens of printers. It takes them weeks to normalize this data, and they usually do it in a spreadsheet. We do that all for them, and we do it for free because we get 10% of whatever they buy. So they're going to save money. They're going to save time. Number 2, my God, running the financing on a book when you distribute it is brutal. People pay 90 days. The printers want you to pay in advance. You're talking about 90 to 120 days, and you're chasing a lot of people. We will chase those people for you, and we can even provide you financing for as little as 6%. And save you all the agita to get you paid quicker. So we're going to save you money. We're going to save you time. And for book publishers, that means more time with their authors. Like, I can pitch this better than you.
Thank you.
Rachel, you're too close. You gotta think basic, first principles, okay? But no, it's my little magic trick. I've heard so many pitches that when you're saying it, I'm rewriting it in my head because I've rewritten so many. But just saying it in plain English is really the best way to do it. But after we ask you the questions, we got it. Okay, I'm belaboring the point, but I'll do it over and over again. Charlie, if you ever want, I'll just do everybody's pitch for them. If you ever want to do like a mind-blowing experience, because once I get in the zone, I mean, I get dialed in on this.
I love it. We're going to time block
Hi, I'm Teresa.
In the zone.
I'm Teresa from SheMate. Female athletes are underappreciated. They don't get the same sponsorship as their contemporaries, in male fields. Anybody who's watched the WNBA or the NBA and looks at the salaries can tell you this. And young women do not have enough support. So we have a chicken and egg problem here. You got to see it if you want to be it. So we've solved these 2 problems. Female professional athletes need more money, and up-and-coming athletes need more mentorship. Let me show you SheMate and how it works. Meet Molly. She's a professional basketball player. Every month, she has 50 different basketball players from around the country meet with her, and she talks to them and answers their questions in a 90-minute Zoom session. She loves doing this. It gives her meaning and purpose. And those 50 people pay her $25 a month. We keep 20% of that. She keeps the other $20. We get $5 for each student. It's $1,000 a month for 90 minutes of her time. This is the best sponsorship she currently has as somebody in the WNBA's G League, and it pays for her car payment and a nice night out to dinner every week. For her, it's a win-win, and these young athletes can't believe they're getting access to Molly Wood, a professional NBA player who gets paid to play basketball. That's their aspiration.
Incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but you went off in 20 different directions, right? And so what happens is you're trying to do too much. As my mom would say to me sometimes, you're doing too much. You need to rest, sleep. Why are you doing so many projects, Jason? You don't have to work so hard. You don't have to work so hard in your pitch. Just say it plain and simple. All right, let's keep going. Sorry. I just addicted to doing that.
I love it. Seriously, we'll get that on the agenda there. Vincent, let's go ahead and share your screen here with the Forge.
Yes.
The Forge.
Hi,
we're seeing Spotify here.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. 2 minutes on the clock here for you, Vincent. Ready? Go.
Hi, Mom, and hello, world. My company is called The Forge, and we make modern software for teams in chemical manufacturing industries. These teams consist of chemical engineers and factory operators to create products such as bioplastics, but also dairy products which are created in large fermentation tanks, such as cheese. Now, here's the thing. The software to design this stuff is built 20 years ago. It takes days to run your simulations, and team collaboration is impossible. People are hacking this on GitHub, complaining about it, Reddit. Nothing good is out there. Now, what we're creating is something really exciting. It's a browser-based platform with real-time collaboration, just like in Google Docs or Figma. We have open APIs are built for scalable cloud computing for the most heaviest of calculations. We have 2 outdated competitors that are running at $1 billion in revenue and overcharge their users $40,000 to $50,000 per users per year, while we are creating a free tier. And you only pay for the computing power that you actually use. We think we can monetize our users for $4,000 per user per year and target a much larger user base because we're focused teams and can bring additional stakeholders to the table. This is a very large opportunity. So what's the plan? In my previous startup, I got to $1 million in ARR in just 3 months. This will take a bit longer. We are establishing a customer advisory panel of 30 smaller engineering shops before we'll target the big guys. And this will serve as a solid basis to iterate from and ship our beta products within 9 months. Over time, when we build out a full enterprise offering, we will convert 250 users for $4K to hit $1 million in a year. Now the users are there, they want it. Nobody can do this as good as we can. Let's fire up some reactors. Thank you.
Great job there, Vincent. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen. We'll have Leah go next with Journey.
Yes.
You can see it. If you want to go full screen. There we go. It looks amazing. Yep. Nice job, Leah. 2 minutes here.
Cool. Hi, I'm Leah. I'm the CEO of Journey, a personal career coach for every employee powered by AI. Here's Levin. He's a software engineer at Netlify, and he's been there for just over a year. He feels lost and confused about what's next and wants to be more strategic about his career. But his manager treats one-on-ones as progress reports, if they have them at all, and gets little actionable feedback. He starts to disengage and look for help elsewhere. That's when he finds Journey and installs it in his company Slack. He gets started with our assessment program that covers 7 key aspects of his work life. Our bot sassy personality and casual tone keep Levin motivated and engaged. Every workday, he gets a short exercise at 9 a.m. that takes 5 to 10 minutes to complete and starts off his day feeling accomplished. When he completes a module, he gets a personalized report that documents everything he's learned so far and gives him action steps forward. For example, how to talk to his manager about his pressures and one-on-ones. These are generated by our NLP and fact-checked by human coaches. And this is what he has to say. Journey helps me think more strategically about my career and my goals. The daily task format helps me retain the learnings much more than a one-off workshop. The one-on-one tips improve my relationship with my manager. I have a much clearer idea of what I want to achieve and how to do it. Based on what we've learned, we generate 3 personalized options for his next coaching course. Our competitors are B2B one-on-one coaching marketplaces that can't scale because they're limited by human capital. They focus on upper management only because they're prohibitively expensive. Journey scales easily and generates a personalized plan for each employee to help companies create a more effective and engaged workforce from the ground up. We acquire individuals by partnering in career-based Slack communities and spread through the company via strong word of mouth and clever social features. We're helping 147 individuals right now and just started our first paid company pilot with Applied, advanced conversations with 2 more. We charge $39 per active employee per month, and long-term Journey will exist on tools like Teams and Discord. Our path to 100 million ARR is clear. 2,000 companies by 2028 with an average of 50 employees. Our team has decades of demonstrable experience in coaching, edtech, and machine learning. We're ex-startup operators and founders motivated by our own personal experience to build a solution that scales.
Awesome. Nice work, Leah. Go ahead and stop sharing. Orazio, we'll have you go next with car assistance.
Yes, here I am. Do you see my screen?
Almost. It's telling me it's coming. There it is. You've got 2 minutes on the clock, Orazio. Ready? Go.
Hi, my name is Orazio, founder of Car Assistance. We help you find the nearest tow truck quickly and at a fair price. Meet Kate and Brian. Kate was driving to her work when her car broke down and she doesn't know what to do or who to call. She's panicking. Brian, on the other end, is struggling with his towing company and he doesn't know what to do to get more clients. So they both go online looking for a solution and they find us, Car Assistance, a simple web app. Once Kate finds us, she only needs 3 clicks to find a tow truck. On the other end is Brian, Brian, who can get more clients by being listed on our app. Kate chose car assistance because she doesn't want to waste time or look around on the internet. Brian, on the other hand, he needs a simple solution to increase his revenue, and he doesn't want to waste time or money. The market size is $16 billion with more than 100,000 towing companies. Our business model is very simple. We charge towing company a monthly fee, an average of $300. The next step, we will get corporate client on board. And once we are established in the towing market, we could offer other car-related service such as auto mechanics. Our bottom-up TAM combining these two channels is 1.5 billion. The towing industry is very fragmented and chaotic. Many of the listings you see on Google Maps are fake, and the location is not as precise as you think. Car Assistance solves this problem for the customer. We are in 10 cities, 22 paying clients, 6,000 euro in monthly recurring revenue. Our go-to-market plan involves the use of paid ads, SEO, and channel partnership, and we expect to reach the 100 million mark by expanding in Europe and United States. Our team is composed by me, Orazio Salvini, generating towing leads since 2015, plus a team of a sales manager, a web developer, and one of the best Italian SEO. Thank you for your time. My name is Orazio Salvini, founder of Car Assistance. We help you find the nearest tow truck quickly and at a fair price. Thank you.
Great job, Orazio. Time to spare. Next up, we have Scott with MuseVerse.
Okay.
Awesome. We can see it and I can hear you. We've got 2 minutes on the clock. Ready? Go.
Hi, my name is Scott with MuseVerse. We solve two problems with MuseVerse. Museums need more money and people need more cultural and historical exposure. Let's meet the Johnsons. They live in Ohio. Dad works a 9 to 5. Sometimes he works 9 to 8, depending. Mom homeschools the kids. They rarely travel, especially now with high gas prices. But with MuseVerse, they might be able to go visit a natural history museum in New York City or an atomic bomb museum in Utah. MuseVerse is pretty simple. It's a subscription-based service. For less than the price of a tank of gas, people can visit every museum in full 3D tour that MuseVerse has produced. Sort of like a Netflix for museums. 50% of those proceeds remain with MuseVerse. The other 50% are distributed back to the museums to help them retain their collections. Museums do not pay up front for the tours. This is fully pro bono for them. So it makes it a very socially conscious kind of thing that customers can feel good about supporting. Competition really isn't any. There are other local 3D tour creators who make them, but they typically have to they charge up front for the tours, and museums really don't have the money to pay up front, and they have to find ways to monetize it themselves. So we monetize it for them, and they don't have to do anything for it. Go-to-market strategy. I have some local influencers already who are interested in helping to spread the word and test in local markets. We're also going to target homeschool companies and school districts. Very powerful way for them to go on field trips for almost nothing. And as of 2019, there were 64 million museum goers a year. Even at 1%, that's a pretty big market. Roadmap is primarily local museums to start. In the last 8 months, last 2 months, I've had 8 museums sign up before I even could get my contract completed for them. Also trying to use networks to get other museums and so on. I have a 3D scanning business. This is what I do. I know how to scan and make excellent 3D tours. So MuseVerse, bringing the museums into your homes and classrooms.
Awesome. Thank you so much. There, Scott, if you want to stop sharing your screen. Jason, can we sneak one more in?
Yeah, like an extra one, sure.
Yeah, we had one. Frank was nice enough to join us in case any technical problems happened on both sessions. So Frank, why don't you go ahead and...
Frank, your alternate?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
I like the alternate. Ooh, a wild card.
Okay.
He's got a good presentation for you. 2 minutes on the clock here, Frank. Ready? Go.
Hi, my name is Frank, and I'm the founder of Ultraground. We help build housing by turning zoning meetings into assets. This is Sean. He's a real estate developer, and he goes to zoning and planning meetings to defend his projects and get them approved. He builds apartment buildings, and it's really hard to build them because each individual zone has its own zoning board, and they approve projects at these public meetings. But he can't get the information from those meetings unless he physically goes to those meetings right now. And they're 4 hours in length. And they happen 2 to 4 times a month. With Ultraground, he simply puts in where he'd like to get information from, and we send him zoning and planning information straight to his inbox. He spends most of his time in his inbox, so it makes sense to meet him where he's at. Now he can see in his local area which neighborhoods are going to be more developed and which ones are not. And he can also see the new rule changes that affect his projects. We focus on email as a sole delivery method. He saves 8+ hours per month, but he really saves when his projects don't get deferred or denied. Our roadmap to 100 million ARR means that we capture 85,000 real estate developers, architects, and engineers. Ultraground will make it so you can add to a building to cart and order it and have it built all online. We will do this by identifying which markets will be highly investable and developable using our zoning data. Sean is one of 9 active users on Ultraground. I'm personally fulfilling them all right now, and we're in 9 also markets. The customer feedback has been great so far. It's a consumer subscription at $99 a month, and we're the only direct zoning and planning information provider on the market currently. This is made possible by COVID. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm a licensed architect in New York, and I want to build housing better. Thank you.
Awesome job, Frank. There's your 5 for this cohort. Jason, Molly?
Wow,
Go ahead and stop
that was
sharing your screen, Frank.
Ultraground was very interesting. My question is, those meetings are already on Zoom, and I guess you're just capturing them and normalizing the data from them and making it into like a report. Am I correct in understanding what the product is?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So you can just download them off the web, run a transcript or something, and then make a Notion page out of it or something that gets delivered to these developers.
Yep.
Those 9 developers, are they paying or are they free users or are they customers?
They're free users. They're selected as high. They have high Twitter followings, and so yeah, and
Awesome.
yeah.
So very interesting idea. And which market is the most, let's say, that has the most homes, most value, highest priced homes, whatever? I'm curious.
We focus on markets with the highest growth. So Atlanta, North Carolina, a couple places that are.
But it's Atlanta's like a big city. So this is by neighborhood, right? Or is it Atlanta?
It's the county of Atlanta. So it's usually by county. So it's a bit bigger than city, but smaller than state.
Incredible. This is a really creative idea. Okay. Molly, do you have a question for somebody?
No, you asked all my questions about Ultraground because I was wondering if that was like zoning information that was already online and you were scraping it and if there were regulatory concerns, but I didn't realize you're actually just transcribing the meetings. What happens if those meetings stop happening on Zoom, in a way that you can capture that information from?
Hopefully we'll get big enough one day where we can have physical people that will go.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will.
They previously were not online, I take it.
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow. It's really an interesting data business. I know, I hate data businesses typically, but like if you can't be at the meeting and somebody normalized it, it's pretty great. All right. So we saw 5 great companies. We just asked our questions to the 5th. The Forge Bio, SaaS for teams, chemical manufacturing, Journey.space, career coaching for every employee. Reminded me of 15.5. It's a Slack app, bottom up go-to-market strategy. It was a really good pitch, Leia. Car assistance, marketplace for towing trucks, $300 per month for each tow company. They got some modest traction. And Museverse from Scott, $50 a year to visit every museum that they 3D organize. How much does it cost you in terms of the number of hours to build a tour? How many hours does it take to do a tour of an average size museum?
I mean, it completely depends. I've done everything from a 5,000 square foot museum to 80,000 square foot museum. So it's very, very different. I
gave you that disclaimer and asked for
Yeah.
average. So here's how to answer that question better. The average museum, obviously there's a range, but the average museum is 40,000 square feet. It takes about an hour per 1,000 square feet. So 40,000 square feet, 40 hours. That builds your credibility, right? See how I did it? Instead of me confusing the investor, I gave the investor that framework. So if you ever want to kind of move ahead faster in this process of raising money, if you can educate me and help me build the scaffolding of, building the skyscraper, that's your company, and understanding the opportunity, I'm building this rocket ship, right? And if you can just help me build it faster, but you weren't helping me build it faster, you're making me more confused. And you seem less credible if you're like, it depends. It depends. I can give the answer. It depends. I know it depends. I framed the question as such. So let's try one more time, Scott. Let's see if you and I can work on this and see if you can give a 10 times better answer in real time. You up for the mentorship, Scott?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, here we go. Scott, what does the average museum take you to scan in terms of hours?
Average museum are between actually 20 and 30,000 square feet. And I can do between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet per hour. So about 10 hours per museum.
Got it. What technology do you use? What's the tech platform here? Is it the one we see when we do a 3D tour of a home?
Yes, that's called Matterport. Plus I use other overlays to add functionality like videos and things.
Did everybody see how much more credible he sounded just from that little mini coaching? So it's just a mini coaching there of if you can just answer it crisply, you determine the average cost. You determine that. Okay. I mean, this is a hard one to pick just two. Molly, you have any other questions you want to ask?
I wonder about the Forge.
Yes, the forge.bio.
You mentioned the forge.bio. You mentioned sort of several, chemical manufacturing, bioplastics, food. It seems to me that those would all be different and highly scientific workflows. And I wonder how you manage to recreate those in a way that doesn't, explode or get people killed. Like, what kind of expertise does it take to build those workflows?
So from a scientific way of thinking, they are different. But in the manufacturing sense, you use the same components. On upstream, you use reactors, you use piping mechanisms. In there goes water, glucose, or different chemicals. You have temperature, and you make different reactions. So they're not that different from a manufacturing standpoint, and that's where we're focused on.
Gotcha. Great.
Okay. I like the Forge bio. In the Forge bio, you said you had two legacy competitors who overcharged. That's like that was a really good punch up there because it makes everybody go, oh, wow, there's an incumbent to steal this business from, and they're slow and they overcharge. Like, wow, there'll be some market pull there, which is great. Journey Space seemed like really well constructed. Car Assistant seems like you have some knowledge of the space since you've been arranging for trucking for 15 years. I thought that was interesting as a little aside that I heard you say. And Museverse, usually I hate these things, but I love the fact that it doesn't take you that much and these museums don't have the money to do it. So you do it, for free with the 50-50 split. I can't see them saying no. In fact, you got so many saying yes that you probably have too many to do. And maybe you could even get them to pay upfront $5,000 to jump the line if they want to do that, right? And a lot of them probably want to do this as a public resource. So you could even do like every Sunday at 1 p.m. from 1 to 5 p.m. on Sundays, it's free for, like they do the free kind of thing. There's so many great opportunities here. All right. So this time we'll look at what we think is the most unique. Also, I'm going to ask my team, which one do you think is the most unique? Just the most unique, most non-consensus, or maybe let's just say unique, like you haven't heard it before. Seems like a wild card. So I'm going to ask the rest of my team that, but Molly, we'll just go with the 2 and the 1. Who's your number 2? Who's your number 1?
I think I know that unique does not mean this because unique only means 1, but my 2 are the most unusual, let's say. Number 2 is Ultra Ground.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's such massive potential to digitize this. You also probably need to make it into like a movement to force, agencies and counties to put this information online in case those Zoom meetings go away. There might be a less labor intensive way to approach it. And then my number 1 is the Forge. I think digitizing those opportunities. My only note is if you have 2 competitors who are overcharging, I don't think you need a free tier. Why would you do that? Just charge everybody.
Yeah. You got to charge people. That's another big lesson here. The being scared to charge, always, a little bit rough, and is a negative signal that you don't think your product is good enough. So without knowing the teams here, I really like all 5 of these. And I could see us really enjoying working with all 5 companies, sincerely. These are really 5 good ones. It's really, really hard because I like to make money. And I think that's like an important thing here. And I know Journey Space is very competitive. I know Car Assistance is very competitive. The other three are less competitive. And I am absolutely taken with Ultraground because it has a really great why now. Why now? Well, because now these things are on Zoom. And they never were. So you can actually capture them without ever going to the office. But then even if you did have to go to the office, what a hell of a moat if you went there and you were allowed to record and you just had like a stick camera of like what do you call this, like a GoPro on a stick, and you just popped up a GoPro on a stick and you recorded it, and you could send somebody there for $25 an hour to record the 4 hours. It costs you $100. Now you got something super proprietary. So if they do go offline, it builds an even bigger moat. So Ultraground is my number one. I think there's a lot of people who pay $100 a month for this, $1,200 a year, $699 up front. I think there's tens of thousands of people who pay for this. It's just great information. So then I'm left with MuseVerse and the Forge Bio. And I could see the Forge Bio printing money, but I could see MuseVerse becoming a bit of a phenomenon. And I just can't believe that you can't just do this, and Google hasn't done it. So I'm going to give the slight edge to MuseVerse. I like the fact that this person, Scott is his name, seems like a bit of a hustler, and he took direction incredibly well in that little interaction I had with him. And that matters. Like coachability or being able to have a really good discussion with a founder as an investor is super important. You have some founders who, you know, they could be really hard to work with. Now, if they're performing at a super ultra high level, great, and everything's going smoothly. But at times when things aren't going smoothly, you know, then yeah, you have no choice but to, you know, intervene with the founder and try to talk to them about like, hey, how do we get out of this? And some founders, they just are like, I'm doing a great job, and the plane is like spinning like this, and it's about to hit the side of the cliff, and you're like, but the plane's spinning, and we're out of fuel, and everybody's going to die. So it's just really hard. I feel like I like Scott a lot. So MuseVerse is my number two. But the other three, I kind of like too. So I don't want to give the wrong impression that we're disqualifying you in this. It's just sometimes it's about, you know, the investor and the founder fit, or the investor and the product fit. Sometimes the investors have an affinity for something they want to see in the world. And it's great when you find a person who wants to see you succeed in the world, because it makes for a great collaboration. They're rooting for you. Well, I see two of my people have their cameras turned off. I don't know if they're not listening, but I'll start with AT. Which one of these do you think is the most unique in the world, and why?
I think it's Ultraground. It's a problem I haven't heard about before. And I love it that it was brought about because of COVID. But I agree with you, Jason. I think if meetings go back in person, I think it's an even bigger moat. So I really like the data collection. I think is going to be great for incorporators.
Jackie, which one's the most unique in the world?
Same reasons.
Amber, most unique in the world.
MuseVerse.
Okay, and why?
I just think it's unique being able to tour any museum from your home. And I think there's so many other attractions that you could break into down the road, other tourist attractions.
That's great, yeah. Kelly, most unique in all the world.
Ultraground, getting rid of that red tape.
Okay. Presh, most unique, and why?
Ultraground, same reasons stated.
Who's your number two then?
Ooh, number two.
No phoning it in here, kid.
All right. I think the Forge.
Okay. And why?
It's just unique, high selling price, and seems like it'll generate a lot of revenue.
Jamie, most unique in the world, and why?
I think the MuseVerse, with the thought that I think on average museums exhibit about 10% of their holdings. And I wonder if you couldn't grow this into a cataloging business and capture all the things that a museum, you know, has, you know, in their storage. And then maybe you become like, you know, stolen art. I think there's a lot of things you could do with it.
That's a very interesting insight. MuseVerse, did you ever think of that? Of like the collections that are not, if you capture the collection, they can see things that are not on display.
Exactly. Yes, it'll be multiple iterations of each museum. That is in our plan.
Amazing. I wonder if
So
you
you
would
would
to pull that artwork out.
Yeah, you
Just
could even be
record.
incentivized to do it remotely instead of even go there, because there's stuff you would see at home that you couldn't see in the museum. Jamie, you're a genius.
Exactly.
What a good insight. Look at that, Jamie. Earning his keep. All right. I think we're done, right?
That's it.
I'm really impressed, everybody.
I just sent you in Slack, Jason, your guys' all your top 1s and 2s if you wanted to review or not.
Oh, okay. Here. Oh, yes, we do like to do that, like down at the end here. So let me find the general room. You put it in the general room.
I just sent it to you as a direct message, but I can put it into general.
Oh, no, that's fine. Let's see. Here we go. So Molly's number 1 was SheMate, and my number 1 was Simple. And then on the second group, Bonjour and
you guys both had SheMate, Jason.
We both had SheMate as number 1. Okay, it's just really confusing to read this. Okay, SheMate, Mollywood, Jason.
Sorry. I'll space it out here.
Why don't you read it since I can't
get
this format?
Yeah.
I know you
So,
cut and paste it from somewhere. So
yeah. So the first session, Jason had SheMate, Molly had SheMate.
Got it.
Second session, Jason had Bonjour, Molly had Refund Whiz.
Got it.
And this one here, you just had Ultraground, Molly had The Forge.
Okay, Molly, if you had to rank them 1, 2, and 3, how would you rank them?
I still just want Bonjour to exist so much, even though I didn't pick it. So let's figure out how to make that.
You can
make
do
all
whatever
the
you want.
money.
You can call it audible here. Yeah.
Nope. I mean, I just throwing that out there. Really need that to exist ASAP. I'm going to say my 3, 2, 1 are SheMate, Refund. SheMate is number 3. Refund Whiz is number 2, and The Forge is number 1.
Okay, I'm going to go Ultraground is my number 1, and Bonjour is my number 2, and SheMate is my number 3. But all very close. And we do this just to give you some general, like, initial reaction to how you did. Typically, the pitches that win in these kind of competitions are solving an acute problem that people can relate to, and then have a very clear business model. So when you look back on this and you watch the tape, was I really crisp in explaining the product? The answer to the majority of these is no, could be much crisper. But did they actually walk away understanding the product and they can explain it to somebody else? In most cases, yes. So could be crisper, but you did get the point across in almost every case. And then, do people understand how you make money? And is that way you make money simple and believable and scalable? This isn't rocket science, folks. Like, Uber picks you up and drops you off, gets you from point A to point B. They take 25%. There's a lot of people who need a ride. People are going to make that bet. Airbnb, people need a place to stay. These are more affordable. They're more unique locations. If you need a kitchen or you're staying somewhere for 15 days, you might be able to go on a 15-day vacation instead of a 7-day because you can afford it. It's like a really easy thing, I think, to understand. And so just make sure you present the business model in addition to the product as simply as possible. And in all these cases, we had to do a decent amount of detective work to figure out what the product does and how it makes money. Just make those 2 things dead simple. It's really easy. You can even use those words. Our business model is very simple. It's tried and true. We charge $100 per user per month, and we have a 20% discount. If you buy per year, it's $9.95. Simplicity is just absolutely beautiful for investors. They love it. And so do customers, by the way. Elegantly simple. And so do teams. If it's really simple how you make money, we have a podcast, we sell advertising on it. We have a venture fund. We invest in companies and we try to get big outsized returns in 1 out of every 50 or so companies. Pretty simple, you know. Most things in the world are simple. And if it's not simple, it's because you made it not simple. So just keep that in mind. You are probably your own worst enemy. Newsverse, very simple. We charge $50. You can go on unlimited tours. And it's $50 a year. It's $5 a month. It's less than the price of filling your gas tank. He said it so simply, I remember it. Coachable Scott. I remember it. SheMate wasn't as simple. Most High, a little confusing. Like, without having experienced the product, it's hard to believe it's like a mushroom trip. But yeah, I'll ask somebody later. So, you know, just got to keep that in mind. Can you say it as simply as possible, and is the business model as simple as possible? I'll give time for one question. Anybody have a question? Charlie will take one question. Molly and I will take one question. You have
Someone got a question here.
But you're right. You can write your question in the chat if you don't want to say it out loud. Or you can ask it. It could be about your startup. It could be a question about life. It could be a question about the downturn.
Also, Jackie and I are going to try Most High. We'll let you know. After work
Okay.
is over,
Yes,
not during.
after work. I don't know. There's kids out there today. They're microdosing on most.
I mean,
Tide
but
videos.
it's the ketamine thing is such a huge deal, but it's still taking a drug, and that freaks a lot of people out. And if you're a recovering addict of some sort and you don't want to take, like, I don't know.
Wow, everybody's
Buying it.
intimidated. No questions. Okay.
Well, that's a good question.
Okay.
Do you have a recommendation for when people start making pitches to investors? Is there a certain point when you think people are ready?
So there are different types of investors in the world. Friends and family will bet on you. Angels will bet on your idea and your potential as best they can determine it, maybe your prototype. Seed funds, they'll bet on your team. You'll usually have 2 or 3 people when you do the seed round, and maybe your early traction, your product cadence. And then Series A venture capitalists will invest when you have, dozens to hundreds of customers, and it's clear that you know how to handle, a $3 to $10 million investment and scale it. So different folks will invest at different times. If you go to a VC now, they're gonna be like, oh my God, that's great. When you get to 10,000 subscribers a month at $20, perfect time for us to talk. Or they might say 1,000. And it's also a great, is it Teresa or Teresa?
Teresa.
Teresa. It's even better if you can tell them, like, hey, I know we're early for you, but what kind of traction would we need to have for you to consider investing? I'm not going to hold them to it. You're going to hold them to it. But, like, is there a number of subscribers or a revenue number per month or a growth rate that would be a great time for me to follow up with you? Or when I should get in front of you? And trust me, we'll tell you. If you're growing 10% or more per month for 3 to 6 months, so every month it's 10% or more, double digit, we want to find out what you figured out, because generally that doesn't happen by accident. Sure, people can figure out ways to scam it. We find, like, Y Combinator companies in the past, like, they all figured out how to hack stuff. So they'd be like, they would ask all the other Y Combinator founders to sign up for their product, or they would spend, $1,000 on ads in week 1, 2,000 in week 2, 4,000 in week 3, 5, 6, 8,000 in week 4, and they would shape a chart. And it's like, we would just ask them to open up Google Analytics and show us the sources of the traffic. Like, how did you get the traffic? It's, oh, it was paid. It was like, okay, great, paid's valid, right? What's the CAC then? Let's have that conversation. So we're pretty clear about it, right? Like, just when you're growing, and for Founder University, you need to just have a lot of heart and a vision. For Accelerator, you got to have some customers, you got to be growing, and you have to be able to build the product. You can't be like outsourcing everything. And for the syndicate, you probably need to have, 25 to 250K a month in revenue in order to clear market with syndicates in the world, or our fund. Yeah. So, and you can ask people. But friends and family, everybody here qualifies for friends and family. And most people here, I think, would qualify for angel investing or an accelerator. And if you're a first-time founder, going to an accelerator is a great move, because just like you went through this one, you probably learned 3 or 4 things, at least, that were really, really leveled you up. At another accelerator, you might find out 2, 3, 4, 5 things that really level you up, and then you start clearing market. So it's going to be harder to clear market now. People were getting, Teresa, credit for work not done. So, companies at your stage who don't have customers yet, or, have like a couple of free customers, 9 people not paying, they were getting valued as if they had 900 paying customers or 90 paying customers. So the market got ahead of itself, and people were getting credit where they hadn't actually done the work. And now people want to see a complete product with a couple of customers, and then they'll fund it. And if you can't get there, well, then you're not a builder. So why should I invest in you? That's the cutthroatness that VCs are looking for.
Hey, Jason, we make big claims for our target psychographic, and I'm curious, should we not be making claims that are as difficult to believe, even though if they're true?
Yeah, I mean, if you believe watching a video can cure thyroid problems, you're going to be put into the quackery bucket by a lot of VCs. So just be careful. I'm not making a judgment either way, but I can tell you what most VCs would think. Now, knowing what I know, EMDR therapy, and like all these different things that people are doing, like in the psychedelic research, yeah, I'm open-minded to it, but I would be careful with fantastical claims, because then they might put you in the astrology category, or like this like fruity hippie category where like you're just seeing granola and crazy. And so since it's already in that, and you have high in your name, you've already eliminated 2/3 of investors who don't want to be associated with getting high. So just by the function of your name, I think you've lost 2 out of 3 investors. So now with the remaining 1/3, you better be careful that like you're not losing 2/3 of them. So it's just something to think about. I understand it's clever framing, and if you're funding it yourself, great. But most VCs have they have vice clauses. They don't do gambling, they don't do drugs or alcohol, and so that's because a lot of the LPs out there just don't want to have to deal with any of those potential ramifications. Although it is changing with wagering as it becomes more acceptable, and it is changing to a lesser extent with psychedelics and cannabis. But people want the federal thing. So anyway, that's something for you to be super hyper aware of. Is if you're going to go fantastical and high and it's like taking mushrooms, you may have just saying this is like taking mushrooms is funny, but but it might actually turn off 50% of investors. Like, this is too crazy for me. I don't want to, when this company fails, and that's what they're thinking, like majority of the companies we have to fail is, am I going to look really dumb? And so you literally have, that's like something I should have never really talked about, Charlie, but VCs have fears too. And one of their fears is egg on their face, right? Being embarrassed. Like, so the com.com investment, somebody wrote this question on Quora, like, is Jason an idiot? He's going to lose his money investing in Quora. Somebody can actually pull it up. It's pretty funny. And I answered it because I look like an idiot investing in a company that was a meditation company. And now I look like a genius. But so, as much as people want to be non-consensus, I did at that time. Well, that's like stung a little bit that I was like, I got to answer this person. So I went and answered it, and now luckily I can dunk. But you could just think that through.
Would it be better to position it as an alternative to substance use to sort of show that we're not a vice, or that we're an alternative to vices?
I don't know why it even needs to be framed as vices. I think framing it as a way to, just framing it as, what is the science behind this? And so if you explained what EMDR is, if you explained what, there's different videos you can watch that create theta waves or something. If you can actually explain like, hey, I know this sounds trippy, but let me explain to you the science behind it. And you just show the science behind these videos. Like, I think that might actually do more than, but in your advertising on Facebook, yeah, you might say like, the best natural high you can get. You could go for that for marketing, but marketing to VCs, they might take a more conservative approach. So, but you'll find that out very quick. I encourage you to A/B test. You may test one of these. You make the mushroom joke in 10 investment meetings. You don't make it in 10. You go science-based for 10 investments. You go with the one you had here, the hippy dippy one, I'll call it, the granola one. I cured my thyroid problems. They just magically went away. You go with the magical mystery tour on with 10 investors, and do the science-based one, 10 investors, and see if anybody takes a second meeting or gives you an investment. Randomly sample them. I love when people do that. So,
Jason,
yes,
for Musiverse, what would be your go-to market strategy if you were an investor?
Well, wait. My go-to market if I was a CEO? You mean like if I was you, how would I go to market? You're muted, Scott.
Yes, sorry, it froze for some reason.
No problem,
Yes,
no
if you were active in the company, what would be yours?
Well, so go-to market is about understanding your customer. So there's really two customers here. One's the museum, and one is the people who want to go to museums. So we have to solve both those problems. So there's a number of museums who don't need money. There's a number of museums who do need money. I think you would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are overfunded museums, MoMA, the Louvre. You walk into their places, they might expect you to pay them. And then there are ones who and they may have had Google offer to do this, and whoever offered to do it, or Zuckerberg with the metaverse bullshit. And then there's ones who need money. And so I think trying to find the highest profile one who wants to do it is great. And then the ones who will do it, doing an absolute kick-ass job for them, so that when you share that link, as you move up to the higher and higher end ones, if they see metrics from that one that are incredible, well, oh my Lord, your chances go up. So I like the idea of it being really easy to get a museum online and for it to be stunningly beautiful. So I don't think it's a numbers game. I think it's a quality game. So I would look at the experience. Is the experience extraordinary? Because they really care about aesthetics, don't they?
Yeah.
So then I would ask yourself, do they want it white label? Do they want it on their site? How beautiful is it? How easy is it to use on mobile? So making 10 of them that are absolutely stunning and then bringing it to the Louvre or bringing it to like a really high-end museum and saying, hey, I know this sounds crazy. If we go out of business, we're going to give it back to you. If we're in business, we'll do it. And figuring out what their concerns are is the way I would go about it. And yeah, and then actually, how many tickets can you sell? So I think solving that problem is also really good. And if they buy the subscription, what happens to the other 9? So people might want to just sell tickets to their museum, and then you can come up with a subscription to yours. So I think that's another decision you have to make. Are you doing this, splitting the revenue? They put it on their website. People are coming to their website. They might be able to do a real bundle, which is, hey, pay us $50. You get access to this virtual tour, and we'll give you your yearly membership. You can come unlimited times. Like I buy the family membership every time I go to one of these places because like I can afford to, and I like to support them. And I typically do go back a second time because I have kids. So if it's in the city I'm in, usually the family plan is what, 50% of the cost?
Usually family plans, if you go 4 to 6 times, typically you've paid it back.
Oh, is it 4 to 6? Yeah, I thought it was like going twice, you're in the black, but okay.
It depends on the museum, but yes, usually around 4.
I wonder, and this is again back to A/B testing, if you said to them, hey, we want to do this for you, it's going to increase the number of people on site and online who want to do a family membership. Why? If they're in person, then they're going to love having this as an opportunity for their kids to catch up on and see the things they missed, because we're going to put your archive in there. And if they're in person, you can tell, if they're online, you can upsell them on, they're going to get the real world experience. So you can target it to local advertising, and they get something immediate. They get to tour the museum and plan out what they're going to do. And then they can go, get the museum. So I like that. Because I think that's their big problem, is getting the big subscribers, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I bet you that's
because they
what
get
percentage of revenue is family subscriber plans versus that are renewable versus people buying one-off tickets, I wonder.
I don't have that number, but I do know that municipal support accounts for like 85%, if I remember right. Obviously, yeah, for local museums, it's massive. I mean, even the Smithsonian itself is fully funded by the feds to the tune of $1 billion a year.
Yeah, so this is where those places might be the last shoes to drop, just like the last city to drop for Uber was Vegas. Like we knew they had the most regulation, they were going to be the hardest to deal with, the biggest corruption, whatever. There were like certain cities you knew you were never going to get through. And so you save those for last. So you might be saving the Met or the Smithsonian for last and just sweeping those other people and saying, hey, this is the way you're going to get more of those yearly subs. And you tell them, hey, I'll do this for free. If you give me half the yearly subs, I'll make you a landing page and I'll buy ads to the landing page and let's see how we do. And I think I could sell, 1,000 extra yearly for you. And, half of them will renew. So I just want the first year, you guys take the second year and I'll do the arbitrage. So if you could they don't know how to do customer acquisition, right?
Oh, no.
So if you made a beautiful landing page that was like, get access to the virtual museum and have a yearly pass for $3.99. Oh my Lord, that could be like an incredible win for them because they have no ability. So again, talk to your customers, listen to their problems and think about making products for their problems, which is how you got here. So that's the go-to market strategy. And then it's going to be very obvious who says yes, who says no. And I can't tell you what it is, but you'll figure it out.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, how can Reap and Wiz improve messaging for solving the acute problem that we're trying to solve?
It was unclear if you're a service business or a software solution. And so if it's a services business, you might find friends and family who want to invest, but you're not going to get venture. If it is a purely software business, I think the other software companies do provide Spanish language. So I wonder if there's a market there. So that's the question I had with yours.
Yeah, they have a human intervention. So Reap and Wiz is exclusively using OCR and AI, and the Spanish language support that they do have is just copy and paste from IRS lingo. And so that's the challenge.
Right. So would you say yours is a service business or a software business or somewhere in between?
Software business.
Got it. Yeah. So that's, I guess, the thing you're going to have to prove and make sure that people understand it's a software, not a services business. That's what's good. If you're going the venture route, and which is but one route, there's 100 different ways to fund a business. Bootstrapping it is the most obvious. And I think you can bootstrap this business and keep building software by doing it manually. Vincent, you have a question? Last question.
Yes, I have a question. Should I focus on coding and shipping products or finding additional co-founders that I think I might need in the future?
Do you have any paying customers yet?
Not yet.
Yeah. So it's maybe a good time to find a co-founder or founding team member. And if you're a solo coder, that gets pretty lonely, and I would be worried about your motivation to come to work every day without knowing you. But usually when you do something with a team, your performance goes up. The fact that I have a big team for investing and doing the podcast and doing inside.com really motivates me to come to work every day and do my best work. So I like the idea of you having somebody who maybe can run the sales, marketing, go-to market, customer support, and all that stuff. That would be incredible. And those people are out there. So you find somebody who already works in this space. Maybe they work at that company and, one of those competing companies, or they did work there, or they got laid off from there. Who knows what's going on in this market. Like maybe they could become a cool co-founder, or at least a consultant for you, and say, hey, I want to hire you as a consultant. I'll give you equity. I'll make you an advisor. And then you see. So sometimes an advisorship or a contract job could result in you getting to know each other, kind of like a little honeymoon phase. And then, or you dance before you date and date before you get married kind of thing, or an engagement. So you can kind of go down that path with somebody. Hey, I'd like to hire you as an advisor. I'd like to have coffee with you and just tell you my idea. Hey, I'd love to make you an advisor and give you 25 basis points to just be available for the next 2 years for, an hourly conversation every quarter. And then, you all of a sudden they're like, hey, I like doing this.
Is that like, do you also do that like with vesting
Yeah.
with advisors? Or?
Yeah, advisors vest over 2 years. Yeah. So you don't have to give it to them all.
2
front.
years.
You can write in the advisor contract. I think Charlie will probably have this in the notes for Founding University somewhere. If he doesn't, we'll add it. Yeah, most of the folks, yeah, they will. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay. All right, everybody, this has been great.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, Jason.
And
Great
Charlie, we're going to do our
insights.
next one. Hey, everybody always asks how they can help. Write a blog post about your experience at Founding University, and then tweet it, and then CC Charlie, myself, and the Founder U, and we'll retweet it. And that's how we get the next group of people. If you can give us a testimonial, like a Yelp-like review, that also really helps. So we do this for free if you choose to get a refund and you went to all 12 classes, or you could choose to donate it, help pay for Charlie's salary. That's up to you. No pressure either way. And we do it to meet founders to invest in, but you can really help us by giving us that Yelp-like review, or writing a short blog post. If you don't have a medium, it's a perfect excuse to set up a medium and start getting your own social media going. And then we retweet it, you get some followers, and everything goes in the right direction. You should have a corporate blog anyway. So blog.your company name, write about your experience. What was great, what you learned, what it was like to meet new people. And then everybody can take their microphones off right now and say, thank you, Charlie Cuddy, and give him a little golf.
Thank you,
Give
Charlie.
Charlie a
Yes.
little
Hey,
golf
Charlie.
clap.
The bomb, Charlie.
Oh my God. Look at all the work he puts into this. Unbelievable.
Charlie.
You guys are so lucky. You guys are so lucky. You all got a free ride, and Charlie did all this work. It's incredible. Great job, everybody. Really appreciate it. But write those blog posts if you really did have a good experience. If you had a bad experience, just send me an email personally, and then I'll give it to Charlie. I'll give him.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye, everybody. Great job.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you
for
for sharing
being
your
here.
visions. Really cool.
Great job.
Care.